Hi, guys. Welcome this evening to Soul Connections. I'm your host, Jo Labbé, and I'm here with Star Nations Radio Network and being fueled by Be Live TV. Tonight, is one of those cool nights where the energy is coming together for people to really change and shift things in their lives. So this is going to be our time to kind of gather together our intentions and whatever we might be looking to shift in our lives and make a go of it. That's how my team is showing me. They're like, let's go. So for those of you who, have joined our show before, remember after the meditation, I will do some divination card readings. So if you would like a card drawn, all you have to do is say yes, please, and I will pull them in the order that they were asked. There are a number of people who posted on our event that we had to switch last minute. So I have those already written down. So those will get drawn first just because we don't want to forget those people who asked before we got started. So those of you who are, again, if you've been here before, you know the drill. It would be great if you could like and share this broadcast so we can get it out to more people. Because I think we're at a period of time where people are ready to shift their lives. They're tired of things being the way they are, and they really want to get some traction. And so that's what tonight is about, you getting to take care of yourself, create some energetic movement in your life, because only you can, right? And then maybe get a card for some guidance on what's the next step, what's the next way for you to move forward. I also want to put it out there that for those of you who have empathic gifts, tomorrow evening I will be hosting a show in the Star Nations Academy closed group. So if you would like to attend that, it's tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. And I'm going to be talking about your empathic abilities, how your chakras work with that, and ways for you to manage your skills. Because sometimes our gifts feel like they control us rather than we control our gifts. And this is one in particular where we can get a little saturated with other people's energy if we don't know proper hygiene for our aura and our energy field. And I want to give you guys some tools because it seems to be a recurring theme throughout our broadcasts is that people are really having a hard time managing the energy around them. So, Neshi and I gathered together and said, hey, should do a class on that because there's a bunch of people who would really keep asking about it. And it's like, sure, because that's totally in my wheelhouse. I teach that all the time to my students and my clients. So I'm happy to share that with you guys here at Star Nations. And once again, you just have to request it and we'll get you in the class. So I'm very excited for that. So I want to share which decks I'm going to be using later because I know some of you, really like the cards and want to know which ones they are. There have been so many people lately that I actually have to use 2 decks, which is exciting, but can be a little hard for people if they notice that the decks are a little different. But I picked 2 artists that are the same because I feel like the energy flows really well that way. So the first deck is the Sacred Earth Oracle, and it's Tony Carmen Salerno. And Leela Williams is also part of this deck. And this is a newer deck from them. And it really has a lot of the earth energy. And then the one that wanted to play with it is the Gaia Oracle, which is also Tony Carmen Salerno. And really it's connected to, the Mama Goddess, the Earth Mama Goddess. So it makes sense that the Earth Oracle and the Mama Goddess wanted to be put together. So Great. And I can see that you guys are posting, yes, please. And a big shout out to Neshi for being my co-pilot again this evening. And she's waving hi, though you can't see her, because she's going to make sure that I have all the names of everybody who needs a card this evening. And that way I can do it nice and quick, or as quick as I can be. So let's get started with the meditation, because we've been pulling a lot of cards. We broke another record last week with 55 cards. So we want to make sure everybody gets a chance, okay? Yeah. And for those of you who haven't listened to me before, I'm going to make some clearing noises. They sound a little bit like burps or squawks. That's me moving the energy for the entire group. And no, it doesn't hurt me, and I don't feel anywhere. It's just sometimes the energy needs to release faster than I'm able to ground it. And that's when the noises come up. So the best thing for you to do is to start with your arms and your legs uncrossed. We want to keep our circuits wide open so that the energy flows beautifully through our body. So let's take a couple of deep breaths and really bring our attention to our body, into this moment. I'm sure we've all had busy days where we've got a lot of energy swirling. Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to begin by calling in the divine, however you perceive that, whether you connect to God or Goddess, Creator, the universe, oneness, consciousness. Just call in the divine energy however you connect to it. For we each have our own personal way to connect with the divine. Yeah. And we're going to ask that energy to surround and protect us in a bubble of infinite love and infinite light, helping us create a sacred space and a sacred container for us to do our healing work and allow us to connect to our spiritual team more fully. So I'm going to invite in your spiritual team, the whole team, your angels, your guides, your ancestors, the ascended masters, your animals, the mystical creatures, star beings, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to you and to us in this moment of now. Yeah. 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 And we're going to begin by calling the divine energy to the top of our head, and just take a moment to notice how it feels when the energy is there to connect, for you to receive. You may notice tingling or pressure or sense light or heat, and you may feel none of that, but simply have a knowing that the divine energy is right there waiting. Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to begin by calling the energy into the top of our head and to start clearing our sixth chakra, the one in the middle of our forehead. And we begin by calming all the swirling thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and patterns that may be spinning in there. And we're going to release all of our to-do lists, because they'll still be there when we're done. Yeah. And we're going to release all things that happened earlier in the day, earlier in the week, or anything else from our past that may be distracting us in this moment. And if you have difficulty, just focus on your breath going in and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're going to call back any energy that we have in the future, the things we're worried about for tomorrow or a few months from now, a few weeks from now, and just bring everything right back. All those things will be there. But let's take a moment to release the worry attached to the possible future.
Good. Good. Good.
And now we're going to open our perception, giving space for us to see more clearly the messages, our environment, and able to tune in more clearly to what is happening in our body, in our energy field.
Good.
And asking all of our senses to work together. Our sixth senses, and even the seventh sense that connects us to a higher, fuller dimensional vibration.
Yeah.
And we're going to open the energy near our ears and open communication with our spiritual team and with others so that we may hear clearly not only what is being expressed, but also the tone and the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
And this opens the opportunity for us to be heard more clearly in what we want, we need, and we desire.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And expanding the energy in the jaw and the throat so we can hand over control to our spiritual team and expand and open our authentic truth and the ability to express who we are in each and every moment from a loving heart space. And letting go of any energy that we've collected in our throat chakra, where we've held on to words that needed speaking. Any words we held in anger and frustration, or any words that we received from others that impacted us, that distressed us in some way. And any energy that is blocking your self-expression, being who you truly are.
Good.
And releasing the energy along the back of your neck and at the back of your skull. Any stress or tension that you've been holding on to there that is making it difficult for you to have that connection to your spiritual team and be in your truth, to feel supported in your truth.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah.
And moving to the top of the shoulders and feeling the gravity that is pushing down upon you. Are you holding responsibilities or burdens on your shoulders? And just take a moment to imagine your spiritual team gently lifting that energy off your shoulders, giving you a break for this moment. For all the responsibilities will be there later, but you don't need them in this breath and this moment.
Yeah.
And moving the energy down into the heart. And just gently allowing old disappointment and sadness and grief to gently dissipate, dissolve. And any guilt or shame that you may be holding on to.
Yeah.
For all of those, squeeze your heart center and make it difficult to share and receive love fully.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
And we're going to connect to our inner child in that upper right chamber of your heart. And just take a moment to notice whether your child is joyful and happy and excited, or does the energy feel heavy and burdened?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just taking a moment to release any sadness or trauma that our inner child may be carrying for us.
Yeah.
Giving them space to be creative and excited so that we can be too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And moving into the lower right chamber of the heart and connecting to our inner adult.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that inner adult is the one carrying all the responsibilities, who helps us with all the doing in our lives. And just giving them a moment without stress, without worry, where they can take a moment to be in the being
Yeah.
and not in the doing.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And moving into the lower left chamber of your heart and connecting to the inner warrior. And really thanking the warrior for all the ways it protects you and helps you take action on your mission and what is important to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, giving them a moment of peace and tranquility. For in this moment, you are completely safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now moving into the upper left chamber of the heart and connecting to the sage elder that lives there, that connects to you there, who has all the information from each and every lifetime. And giving you access to all the wisdom that you've accumulated in each and every lifetime. And just allowing the breath of life to come into your heart and your lungs to feed your blood and your oxygen so that the divine energy is flowing throughout your entire being.
Yeah.
Lots in there. It's good, nice, beautiful blood flow.
Yeah.
And now moving down into your third chakra, right below your rib cage and your solar plexus, and allowing the energy to clear any fear that you may be holding on to. And my team sees the fear as any energy that is not in love. So whether it is anxiety or stress, frustration or overwhelm,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whether it's resentment or judgment,
Yeah.
or whether there is anger, even righteous anger that you may be holding on to,
Yeah.
any energy that is squeezing your self-esteem or your self-worth or your self-confidence, any energy that creates a sensation of less than or not enough or too much.
Yeah.
And moving down into the second chakra below the belly button and releasing any energy around emotions that you have been unable to express and are held within your body. So any additional energy around sadness or anger,
Yeah.
in any way your energy is having difficulty flowing in your relationships with others, whether there is negativity flowing or whether there is one person taking more than giving. And just gently restoring the energy back into balance, back into flow.
Yeah.
And that energy can also be out of balance in our relationship with things like money and food and alcohol or drugs, shopping, the internet, anything that may be a little out of balance for you.
Yeah.
And gently bringing you back to center, back in the ebb and flow, which allows the creation and the manifestation energy to flow easily and fully.
Yeah.
And opening the energy in each hip socket, because we want the flow to take place in our physical life and in our spiritual life equally. So again, that restores us to balance as we walk forward in our lives. And it keeps that manifestation circuit wide open. And moving into the first chakra just below our tailbone. And releasing any last energy that has created a sense of insecurity, instability, or that has caused us to feel unsafe in some way. Bringing energetic balance back to our home, to our job, to our finances,
Yeah.
to our family, especially our family of origin. And now gently allowing that energy to move down your legs, into your knees, giving you room to be more flexible and more adaptable as things happen to you and around you. Bringing it down your shins and calves, opening the energy in your ankles and your feet. And then allowing the energy to go below your feet, below the ground. And just feel the energy as it goes about a foot beneath your feet, a foot beneath the earth. And if you're in a building, you can just imagine it going through the floor and then down through the foundation till it goes beneath the earth. And let it go down a few feet. And then a few more. And notice as your energy goes deeper beneath the earth, it can actually move farther and faster because there's less resistance. The closer we get to the center of the earth, the easier it is for our energy to flow and connect. And imagine your energy connecting to the heart of Grandmother Earth. And you can either experience that as your own energy wrapping around, or you can even imagine from your heart space this giant umbilical cord going from your heart to her heart. Whatever is the easiest for you to envision, or even some other way for you to connect is fine. And now begin to call up the earth energy to clear and cleanse and restore, filling in all the nooks and crannies of all the energy released that we were willing to let go of. And as it begins to come up through our feet and our legs, we might sense the warmth of that. I experience that as a honey sensation, but some experience it like mud or tingling or water. Whatever you feel is perfectly fine, or you sense, or you see. And as it comes up through the feet, it reinforces those knees, those thighs, those hamstrings, your hips, fills the whole pelvic floor with stability, your lower belly, up through your belly button, and filling those upper organs so they can have a moment to not work so hard.
Yeah.
And then bringing it up through your spine so that it is supporting you as always in all that you do and all that you be.
Yeah.
Moving it through your heart. Just gently allow your heart to receive even more love than it's ever held before. Gently stretching it. And this gives you the ability to love yourself more fully and to be able to share more fully with others. And then allow that energy to come up to your shoulders, relaxing, releasing, and as it gently flows down your arms, to your elbows, your wrists, and your hands. Filling with love energy for everything that you touch. And moving it up through your throat, your neck, supporting you speaking your authentic truth. And bringing it up through your jaw and your ears, through your sinuses and your third eye. And feel it as it reaches the top of your head and it begins to overflow down your body. Like a beautiful waterfall. And as it does that, it cleanses, restores, and repairs your aura in all of its beautiful layers, in each and every direction, in each and every dimension. And just remember that it is in front of you and behind you, including behind your right shoulder and under your left rib. And it flows on either side of you, and above you and below you, all the way down through the earth. Healing on the physical layer, the emotional layer, the mental thinking layer, the spiritual layer, and beyond. And now take a moment to envision healing energy being sent to Grandmother Earth in gratitude for all that she does to lovingly support us, providing us shelter and food and water and air to breathe. And let's also take a moment to send healing to those who are asking for it, remembering that all healing is for the good of all and harm to none, which includes ourselves. And all healing is sent for the highest best for each and every one of us. And take a moment of gratitude for your spiritual team, for them being present, for them helping and guiding you, for all the ways they communicate with you, even if we're not aware of that. And now you're going to bring your focus and your attention back into your breath. And just take a couple of deep breaths. And you can even make noise as you release it. You can begin to wiggle your fingers or toes or stretch. If you're having difficulty, you can rub your hands together or rub your feet on the floor. Just try to bring your awareness back into this moment right now. All right, welcome back, guys. I am going to start the card reading with Ellen Bartos. So Ellen, your card, my dear, is clarity. So the clarity card comes in when we are having a little difficulty focusing or we're spinning in our thoughts a little bit. And the clarity card comes to remind us that sometimes the best way to shift our perception is to get quiet. When we have a lot of distractions, a lot of noise, a lot of stimuli going on, it's very hard for us to focus. So sometimes the best thing to do is to just be as quiet as you can, just focus on your breathing. And all of that focus on your breathing sends more oxygen to your brain so that it has more ability to think clearly. And that will help quite a bit. And then remember that you are not alone. So ask your spiritual team for guidance. And if you're having trouble, then reach out to others who love and support you. You have some beautiful soul sisters and other friends who are here to help you. Because sometimes we just need someone else's view on what we're going through. All right, Esperanza. Your card, my dear, is stretch. So the stretch card today for you, and it's very relevant for tomorrow night's show on Star Nations, which is all about empaths, is sometimes when we're empathic, we our energy field and our aura gets stretched all over the place. It gets attached to other people and to other things. And then we don't have a clear sense of what's going on inside of us. We assume that everything we're feeling is ours. And when we're stretched out like that, that's not often the case. We're picking up sort of energy debris from other people. So this is reminding you that you tend to stretch your energy field a little bit too far. And so you get a little overwhelmed, is how I'm seeing it. A little overwhelmed with all the stimuli of everybody else's feelings. So remember to try to bring your sacred container back to you. If you're in worry or anxiety, then you are in the past and in the future. And both of those things also stretch our energy. So again, if you could focus on your breath in the moment, and also one of the things that helps calm that is to focus on things that are tangible in your environment. So how many green things are in the room around you? And things like that, so that you're very present for the moment. All right. And Carolina, I'm not sure how we say that, sweetie. Your card, my dear, is balance. So you can see how the two are leaning away from each other when they're meant to be standing side by side. And that means we're a little off kilter. And sometimes we spend too much of our time doing and not enough time being. And also sometimes we spend a lot of time doing something that we don't enjoy, and then we don't give our inner child room to play. And then we get really cranky when that happens. So I feel like your life is a little out of balance, a little out of sync. So start carving out some self-care time, some time for you to play with friends. And don't be afraid to play like old-fashioned play, like get out some, Play-Doh or bubbles or crayons, and just let your inner child have some time to. That's how you actually will release the stress that you carry around from everything that you do. All right, my dear. So Rob. Interesting. You have the goddess of creation, Rob. So the goddess of creation is about transformation, creativity, and wholeness. So she's coming to you right now, reminding you to call on her to help with your creative process. I think I've said this a number of times to you in this new year already. It's time for you to get creative. And I feel like that has to do with your music. And when you access that creativity, you start to feel more who you are. And that returns our sense of wholeness. When we feel broken or fragmented, it's because we have pieces of us that we're not expressing. And so the creativity in particular is the part of you that's not getting enough airtime, if you would. And so it's really time for you to put your spin on it. And sort of hearing like, don't just play music the way it's written. Create a variation on it that's uniquely yours. And it will spark, even new works to be created. All right. The next card is Julie Hedges. So Julie, your card is ready but waiting. So the ready but waiting card is letting you know that you have everything that you need already, but part of your lesson right now is about patience. And the more impatient we get, the longer we have to sit in readiness, the longer we have to wait. When we're comfortable with our life unfolding in divine timing, then it actually unfolds quickly and easily. When we want the universe to hurry up and when's this going to happen because I've been waiting, it creates frustration, and frustration pushes the energy away. So just know that you already have all the tools you need. There's no skills you need to create for the next part of your lesson and your journey, but you are in a lesson of patience. And with patience comes trust. Trust that your spiritual team is there. Trust that the universe is guiding you to your highest best. And trust that it's okay for you to have this time in limbo. All right? Because we all go through those periods. All right. Julie Shumway Hill. Let's see what you got, my dear. You got the Revolution card. The Revolution card is really cool. May sound daunting. But revolution comes when it's time for us to reclaim ourselves. Other people create a version of who we are. You know, we become the wife, the mother, the daughter, the teacher, the taxi cab driver for our kids, if we have them. And everybody has a role that they've assigned to us. But it is your turn to start saying, this is who I am. And in a way, there's a little revolt that has to happen because some people aren't going to be comfortable with that, with you being you, because then it'll bring very much to their awareness that they aren't being who they are. Because then we're a mirror for people to like, okay, it's time for you to actually be you, be authentic and be in your truth. And you've been doing this like little by little, but I see sort of this like having to stand and hold your ground. So there may be a little conflict that comes with that, but stay in your heart space and know that the divine is fully supporting this for you and wants to help you as you go through it. All right. Andrew. Your card is Winter's End. So Winter's End is the card of regeneration, rebirth, and positive outcome. Yay! So think about, when we're in the winter energy, right? Nothing's blooming, everything's in hibernation, we're kind of stuck. And so what it's telling you is that everything beneath you and for you is sort of like underneath the soil getting ready to bloom. And that is just showing you that wonderful positive things are ready to sprout for you, that new energy is being birthed for you. And it feels like a very short amount of time. In the next like 2 weeks or so, there'll be this like poof of some really positive news and positive outcome. And it'll help you feel like, whew, reborn, like, okay, now I can move forward and there's not so much stress. And I finally am like stepping on my path again. Because you've been in hibernation. You haven't even been waiting. You've been in hibernation for a little while. So this is all about to end and really quickly. So just keep your thoughts positive. And again, reach out to your spiritual team, but also reach out to your energetic family, your friends and close ones, because they can support you as you go through this. All right. All right, Violet. course you may have a card. Aw. This card is thinking of you. See the beautiful sun. It's a lot of divine energy. So this is energy from the other side. You're being sent love from loved ones. You are being sent loving energy to support you. It's like the sun is shining down on you and it's lighting the way for you right now. So if it's felt like lonely or stressful, that energy is coming to an end, sweetie. So just know that your loved ones on the other side and your spiritual team are sort of surrounding you, hugging you, and supporting you as you go forward. And they're lighting up the pathway in front of you. So you're not going to have to have this sensation of like going through the darkness or going through alone anymore. It's all going to be lit up in front of you. And it's got a lot of beautiful heart energy. So yay! I'm excited for you. All right, Christina. Hi, dearest. You're going to be happy for this. Your card is attachment. Look at all the cords wrapped around the body there. So this card is all about letting go and the way fear energy restricts us from moving forward. And it doesn't have to be our fear energy. It can be fear energy of our family who think they're trying to be helpful, which I'm feeling quite a bit of right now for you. So don't let other people's fear restrict you. Just because they're nervous about how things are going for you, that doesn't mean you have to be. This is about staying in your vibration of love. We're talking about Sonia Choquette's book, right? Traveling at the Speed of Love. And she's talking about staying in your heart space, and that as people are, trying to bring you down energetically, as soon as you notice that, you bring yourself back up. So don't let somebody sort of lasso you with their cord of fear, because that's not yours to hold on to. All right? Let it go. You don't need to hold that for them. All right, Christine Wyman. All right. Your card, my dear, is unity. So the unity card comes to us when we feel alone, when we feel separate, and when things feel like they've been torn apart. And we have the power to bring all of our pieces home. We have the energy to bring ourself back together. And it happens when we open up the space for others to help us. And we know who the people are that we can turn to, that we can trust. And if you don't feel that in someone outside of you, then you call in your spiritual team to be even closer to you. So if you have these moments of feeling lonely or feeling separate, ask your spiritual team to bring your energy back to you so that you can feel whole, complete, and together. Because only when we're feeling that way can we really come together with other people and have a very strong interaction, a relationship with them. And I just want to remind you that when we're in fear, our energy gets clogged. It gets pushed down. It moves away from our heart. And right now I'm feeling a lot of energy for you that's caught in your throat, which means Maybe you're having a little trouble expressing your truth, and that your heart it's weighing down your heart energy, which then pushes down on how you feel about yourself. So try to focus on breathing some love energy and accepting love energy from your spiritual team, because they're more than willing to send it to you. And I'm also getting that don't be afraid to get like an energy healing from someone, because it can restore our balance really quickly and easily and give us some clarity when we need it. All right, Minnie. This is your one of your favorites, Eternal Dance. So in the Eternal Dance, she is constantly moving. She's in the Wheel of Life. She's in the path of least resistance. This is when you're dancing your way through life. Like when something comes up in your path, you kind of like tango around it. So this is reminding you to just stay in that sensation of life's a dance. Because that way you're really in sync with your own energy. And when we do that, we really don't come up against very much resistance. And actually, when people try to create resistance for us, we're often sort of oblivious and don't even realize that's what it is. You're like, oh, I guess you wanted me to freak out there. I'm sorry, I couldn't do that for you. So keep moving, keep dancing, because you're in the flow, girl. and many of us would like to be in that. All right, Christine. Nice card for you. Efficiency. So the efficiency card comes up when we are busy multitasking, right? And we get a little overwhelmed, like, oh no, I've got so much to do. And it's about figuring out what is actually yours to do and what isn't yours to do, and to stop doing that. You know, if you're the one who always does the family laundry and there are other people in the family, guess what? You can teach them how to do laundry. And you can teach them how to load the dishwasher and stuff. And that you don't, just because it's always been your job doesn't mean it is your job, right? And so being efficient is about figuring out what things are yours and what things aren't. And my team has been really cool recently. It's like I have a huge to-do list, and I figure out what I can reasonably do, and then I ask the universe to send me people or send me something to take care of the rest of the list, so that I don't get overwhelmed and it just shows up. It's really cool. So try that. All right, Margaret. Yes, my dear. Your card is magnetism. Magnetism is great because the magnetism card is saying that you're starting to become a magnet for what you would like in your life. So, you know, people call that the law of attraction. And so be open to what's coming in. Are you enjoying what's coming in? Because then you are manifesting your heart's desires. If things are coming to you that you're not happy about it, then take a look inside and see why you're becoming a magnet for that. So like sometimes people have, you know, they have others who are saying, I don't know, it's not true for you, so I'm having a hard time. We'll say like negative things, and it's all around the same thing. Like people are saying that, you know, you're lazy, which I know this isn't your truth, but it's true for somebody who's listening. So if people are constantly telling you're lazy, except you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, that's not really true. So why is that perception happening? And you can look in your energy body and see where it is and get it out of there. That's how you lift your magnet to attract what you want in your life. So you're being a great magnet. So if you love what's happening, keep doing it. If you don't, look inside and see why you are attracting it. Okay? Hello, Ed. Woohoo! Can't wait for your show. All right. So your card is the Search. So this is an interesting card for you. Because the Search is, sometimes it's for people who are feeling lost or lonely or confused. And I'm not getting that for you. I think at the moment, it's not that I think, it's what my team, I'm really hot with the energy right now. So it's coming very hard and heavy. So what I'm feeling is you're seeking the next step in your development. You're seeking the, how do I do what I do at a higher level, at a, on a bigger stage, in a bigger venue. And you are starting to do that in terms of you're going to step into it as you become the show host and writer for Star Nations. So that's that search of like, okay, what's the next step? But there's actually a number of steps, and I know you know that. And you and I have to talk a little more about the sacred geometry piece that you're working on, because they've given me some more insight on that. So just know that as you are seeking, you're expanding. So give yourself a break if you are having sort of energy growing pains, which can be like, we can get sick from that. We can get headaches from that. We can have difficulty sleeping. So if you need help with that, you know how to call me and I'll hook you up. All right, Jackie. Your card, my dear, is Core. So the Core card is when we get pulled in all different directions and it's time to come back to center, come back to who we are. When we're so busy pleasing other people and taking care of other people, we start to lose sight of who we are. So when the Core card comes up, it's calling you to get back to your heart, your truth, your feelings, and who you are. And you know, sometimes when we are being ourselves, other people aren't happy with that. But don't let that affect you, because that's because they're unhappy with themselves. If they love themselves, they'd be thrilled for you to find who you are. When they're not, then it's because they're not comfortable in their own skin. And that's not our responsibility. That's completely theirs. We can only control who we are. So come back to your center, come back to what you love to do and who you love to be, and everything will sort of like line up nicely and come into sync. Nice. All right, Susan. Your card, my dear, is Space. So the Space card has two meanings, I think, for you, which is interesting. So the Space card is often about that we need to control or create the space that we are living in energetically. So sometimes it's like things get too close and overwhelming, and we kind of need to push that back because we need breathing room and we need space. But this is also saying that there are times that, you know, you put too much space between you and others. It's like you isolate a little, babe. And so it's like time to shift that it's okay to have your personal bubble, but your personal bubble doesn't need to be like 6 miles wide. You want to allow other people to get in and get close and invite them into your space, into your life, into your friendship. And the only way that's going to happen is if you invite them in, you know, because you've been very good at putting the like, nope, stay away. I think we had talked about this, the push me, pull me, like, you know, love me, I want attention, and go away. you gotta pick one or the other, right? But how about you find a way to just open up your heart space and let other people in. All right. Bobby. Yes, shift away. Ah, you have the apprehension card, my dear. The apprehension card comes in when we're kind of when we get a little bit of doubt and a little bit of fear going on. I'm feeling like you're on the precipice of starting something new. Like you're about to sort of like stick your toe in the water, and it may feel like this huge leap of faith to do that. And so it creates all this nervousness. So there's like this little bit of excitement about like stepping out there, but then there's all these like doubts and fears that like whoosh in. So when we are walking on our spiritual path, our team always pushes us a little out of our comfort zone. So it's like every time you feel a little out of your comfort zone, take a deep breath and allow yourself to just feel whatever you're feeling and then move forward anyways. And then the doubts and the fears get smaller and smaller, and it makes space for it to be a little bit exciting. But we all go through that when we're making, you know, changes that seem big in the moment. But if we look at them, you know, a year later, it's like, that was really no big deal. So you're just stepping forward, sweetie. And they're sort of, I kind of see like they got their foot on your fanny, pushing you a little bit. So let go of the doubt and the fear, so that you don't have to get kicked in the fanny to move forward. All right. Karen. Hi, dearest. So your card is Alchemy. Great card for a healer, right? So you know this, where, you know, you were in this alchemy process, really digging deep into the transformation as you're finishing your 3rd year of the school. And it's showing there's a lot that's shifting. There's a lot that's changing. And you're taking things that weren't possible and making them possible. And you do this in a very organized way. So you like to go from one step to another. Remember, there's magic in alchemy. Allow the magic to come in. I know you call in your spiritual team. I know you call in the divine, but they're saying, you know, allow space for a little more magic as you're doing the creation. We don't have to know everything. We just have to trust. And when we do that, things shift and move even more quickly. So yeah, I look forward to that for you. Anne. Ah, nice card. Your card is Brilliance. So the Brilliance card is when, you know, your team is reminding you that you are this magnificent divine being, that you have this special uniqueness to you, that you are meant to shine for others. It's your light is meant to illuminate other people's darkness. And so allow yourself to be that brilliant. And you know, there's this little side piece that's coming in this way, which is, you know, brilliance has nothing to do with how smart you are. Brilliance has to do with how connected you are. Because when you're connected to your inner wisdom, you are all knowing and all seeing. And it doesn't matter what your degree is, right? It's you being you is brilliant, and it helps other people see their way out of their darkness. And as we shine our light, then everybody else gets to shine theirs. And that's such a big thing for light workers. Like, stop dimming your light for other people. Shine brightly, please. We need to illuminate the whole planet. All right, get going. All right, Robin. Your card is the Dream. So the Dream card comes in. There's two layers to it. It's to remind you that your team is speaking to you in dream time. So if you can remember your dreams, or you have an aha moment in your dream time, write it down. I keep a little journal next to my bed so that when that flash comes in, I write it down quickly, just so I don't lose it. But what happens in that state, and even if you don't remember it from the dream, it's giving you insight, and it's helping create a breakthrough for you. So it's like your team is downloading for you everything that you need while you're sleeping, and it will allow some aha moments, and it'll help create the energy for you to move forward during the day. It's like, again, it's like that insight, and there's like this breakthrough energy. I keep seeing this like psh, psh, as it goes through. So really just try to tap into that. And the more open we are to that, the faster it happens. Good job, sweetie. All right, Cindy Lynn. Your card is Repetition. And so what I'm seeing from you for this is it's reminding you that practice makes perfect. We don't create a spiritual practice in one day. It's called a practice for a reason. It means that it takes time to build up our stamina and build our energy. So this is true for everything that we do. We all want to be good at it the first time, but we get stronger and it gets easier the more we do it and the more we practice. So this is showing me, like, you know, you creating a new morning routine, and you need to stick to it every single day. And there'll be times when you slip up, but you get right back on and you do it. So it's like the more you do it, the more you practice, the easier it'll get, and it'll start to feel natural. Because at the moment, you're kind of in this seesaw pulling energy, where you're trying to make things happen. And when we try to make things happen, we've taken out the flow from the divine. So if we practice in handing it over to our team over and over again, then they'll start to step in and take over. All right, my dear? All right, Gina. I'm excited you're going to be in the class tomorrow. Thanks for sending that to me. Your card is Perception. So the Perception card is that when we have to open up the veil of illusion. Lots of times our survival body, our ego brain, wants us to get caught up in fear. But the truth really isn't there. When we check into our heart to see, is this really true for me? Our heart will answer. And so there's also some sort of situation that's going on right now for you. where you don't have all the information. And so what's being presented to you is an illusion. So it's taking a moment to find out what's behind the curtain, sort of seeing the Wizard of Oz, right? And it's really easy for us to believe the illusion because it's what's right in front of us. But our gut and our instinct will tell us that's not quite true. And that's what you need to tap into. Trust your gut, trust your heart to give you the information you seek, because there's some layer of untruth that is sort of clouding your judgment or clouding your ability to see clearly. I don't really feel like it's yours, but it's like somebody else is blowing smoke at you, and you're not able to see through it. All right, Lindsay. Have a safe flight home. I can't wait to see you. And I'm kind of sad that you're going to be all tan and beautiful from Florida, but I'll be there later. So your card is specialization. Ah, what a great card. I mean, this is really a gifted card for you. This is telling you that you have particular gifts, but it's time for you to really hone in on your unique flavor. So, as an energy healer, we can be like, oh, I'm an energy healer. And then you kind of heal everybody who gets in front of you. And that can be exhausting. It's kind of like a general practitioner doctor, right? But as energy healers, the more we create a specialty of what we're really good at and what we're really strong with, we actually hone in on who our ideal clients are and who are the people that we're meant to help. And when we specialize, then we actually become a bigger magnet for even more people. When we're kind of like trying to take care of everybody and make everybody happy, we're not happy. So, I started my practice by specializing with people with post-traumatic stress, because that was the biggest thing that kept showing up for me. And then it turned out that I was also helping all these people with empathic gifts and psychic gifts that they don't know how to use it, and it's causing all sorts of things to go wacky in their lives, right? So it's like helping people to learn how to use their gifts and release that trauma so they can, right? So you're going to find your flavor. You're going to find who your group is that you're meant to work with. So start jotting down what feels right for you, because that'll be good. And for Chris, Chris, your card is center. So the center card is very much like the core card. The center is you need to be in your center when you're being and when you're doing things. When we try to please everybody else, we become unhappy. When we are spending all of our time working and not having any time playing or doing what we love, we get cranky. And so, vacations are beautiful. They're wonderful. They help recalibrate, but we need to know how to take a vacation every day. When do you take time in the day for you to relax and have fun, right? And because then we don't need to go away, right? We just need to have that playful fun time in every day, and it feeds our soul. So that's what you need to bring your back to center. And I bet a whole bunch of people needed to hear that, me included. All right, Joanne. You got the moonlight card, my dear. I love this because the moon lights up the dark, right? And it's shining on all that water, and the waters have to do with emotions. And this has a lot of like romance attached to it. You know, it's like there's something romantic about being out in the moonlight. And that's when we feel juicy. It's when we feel like love within us and around us. So it's calling on you to notice how the moon impacts you, and you know, think about what does it feel like, if you can just imagine, what does it feel like on a beautiful day to stand out in the moon? That's the energy that you're meant to kind of bring forward right now. And so there's a lot of like potential underneath that. There's a lot of promise. And sometimes this is a card about travel. And sometimes it's a card about romance, because it depends on how the moon, we interact with the moon. And if you don't know, spend some time with her. You know, sit down, even if it's cold, you know, you don't have to sit outside, but you can sit by the window and just let that energy come in and fill you and see how that feels. Because that's the sensation that you're looking for to move forward in what you're doing. All right. Jacqueline, of course. You got the Sacred Heart card. Woohoo! The Sacred Heart is all about passion and love and spiritual communion. You and the divine as one. So this is when you're using your higher heart energy. And it's when you're in that unity consciousness, when you feel at one with everyone on the planet, in the universe. You understand that we're all intertwined and there's not one of us, but all of us. And when we're in that space, it allows like a lot more passion and in what we're doing and how we're being. It gives us a lot of creative flow. It gives us a lot of manifestation flow. So really access that heart energy, because it's almost like you're having an awakening of your heart right now. So tap into it and see how that feels and see how it shows up for you, and let that guide you, because it's really trying to. All right, Andrea. Your card is Sacred Journey. And the Sacred Journey card is about the sort of like the cycles of life, that we go through phases and we go through cycles, and each cycle leads to a new cycle. And it's how you know, the year rolls and our life rolls, and it's how our family grows and develops. And it's all about how we go through these circular phases of transformation. So we're never standing still. We're not going through life on a straight line. We're going through it in a spiral fashion. So this is saying to you that as part of the sacred journey, just remember that if you come back around to something that you've dealt with before, it doesn't mean something's wrong. It means that you can go deeper into working and clearing with that energy. It's like you can take it to a whole new level. And that's how we go through the transformation is, you know, we tackle one layer of fear that we have about something, and then it's like, oh, but we have this other fear about it. And then, oh, then there's still this other thing. And it may feel like we're doing the same thing over and over again, but we're going deeper and deeper as we do it. So this is a beautiful card for you as you go through your sacred journey. Nice job. All right, Alyssa. All right, your card is the Preservation card. This card freaks people out sometimes because it's a skeleton. But I don't know if you can see there's a baby in the womb underneath there. So this is when you are preserving and protecting your inner child. That part of you that is, ready to be birthed, the new Alyssa that is ready to come out. You're preserving that new energy that wants to come through. And that means that when we're doing that, there's some old energy that has to go. So I feel like you still got a little bit of that old energy hanging on. We're like, we don't want to end a relationship because, we've been with them a long time, but neither one of us is happy, but I don't want to be alone. Yeah, that doesn't work. So this is time for you to kind of birth the new Alyssa. And it may have to do with your job. It may have to do with a relationship. You know what it's about. I don't need to know. So whatever is really done and you're not happy with, let it go, because something beautiful is trying to get birthed here. Okay? All right, Tina. Hidden gift. I love it when the angels come in with the hidden gift. So the hidden gift is when we have a situation that ends, there's sadness and sometimes regret. But there's always a gift in the ending. There's always a new facet. Sometimes we learn things the hard way, right? So if we focus on all the hard things that happened, we miss out on the beautiful thing that developed because of it. Sometimes, like I had a bunch of stuff happen last year. It was really stressful. It pulled my energy out of whack. But the hidden gift of that was that I learned to really get clear on what I wanted, what I need. And it really helped me with communication with a lot of people, because I am not trying to please everybody. I'm just trying to be me. And so know that when we have this tough situation, as we can focus on what went wrong, or we can see the gift was, oh, well, the gift was I got to feel free. I got to be myself. I got to understand that I'm never doing that again. Whatever it is, there's always a gift that's underneath it. Okay, so look for the gift beneath whatever is old and causing sadness. All right, Cindy. Your card is Lost Love. Now, the Lost Love card comes in different ways, but it's when we feel like love is missing. And whether it's somebody who's passed or a relationship that's no longer working, or we feel like we've let ourselves down and that we haven't been really loving who we are. In this process that you're going through, it's about surrendering, which is like one of the hardest things to do. But in the surrendering, you allow your spiritual team, you allow the divine to come in and release what is causing the sadness and really go into a deep place of healing. So this is saying it's okay. It's okay for you to have this moment of sadness, of grieving, of disappointment, but you don't want to wallow in it. You want to feel it, honor it, express it, and then move forward, because that's not where we're meant to stay. That's when our energy gets pulled into the past. And we get stretched energetically and we start to go into overwhelm. So honor your feelings, feel them, express them, and then let them go, because there's so much more for your heart to experience. All right, Lauren. Did I miss somebody?
Kimberly.
Oh, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Okay, I have Kimberly after Lauren. So they're the other way around. That's okay. Hi, Kimberly. Your card, my dear, is time. So I love this card for you. Who needs more time in their schedule than a mama with 2 little babies? Because time we can blame time for a lot of things, right? I don't have enough time to do that. I don't have enough time to do this, or there's never enough time, right? But remember, when you become friends with time, we can stretch time so that more can be done in time. It doesn't have to be your enemy. And you can ask your spiritual team how to maximize your time so that you get everything done that you want to, but you still have time for yourself. And maybe that's your spiritual team helping your kids go to bed a little earlier than they're used to. Maybe all of a sudden they're going to start going to sleep a half an hour earlier and you got a half an hour back. You never know. So ask your team to help you with time, because it's something that you have difficulty with, and also to create better boundaries on other people's time so that they're not wasting your time or taking up all your time. All right. So now I guess it's Lauren. Yes? All right. So Lauren, your card is the 9 of Hearts. And the 9 of Hearts come in when we have this sense of completion, something being fulfilled, but it's also a sign of protection. So the 9 of Hearts is saying, you know, all this wonderful harmony is coming in. All these things are coming to fruition. It's beautiful energy. But there's also this like layer of protection that is around you, which is why this stuff is coming into harmony, because your spiritual team has kind of created this bubble around you, this cocoon around you, so that your heart can go through this process. It can open and come back into harmony. These things can come into fruition. So just make sure that you don't allow the fear to come in, because that will bring down the layer of protection that your team has already created. Just stay in that heart space and know that everything is going to flow from there. And there's a ton of harmony around this card. So it's perfect for you. All right, Judy. Of course there's time. I always stretch time. We were just talking about that. I'm getting better at it. So your card is the yin yang card, my dear. So the yin yang card is about creating harmony inside of you by creating balance in your life outside of you. Shocking, right? So this is when we need to really think about how much time do we take for ourselves? What is your self-care practice? And are you doing the things that you love to do? Are you having time to do the things that you love to do? And are you having time to really tap into your spiritual practice and how you are creating that for you? Because it's so easy to get caught in the doing, and our ego gets us in the place where it thinks we have to keep doing or the world is going to end. But the more we tap into our breath and our spiritual practice, the more time we actually have. So notice this theme for you guys here in this batch about, you know, if you bring harmony in within you, then there's plenty of time always to get done what you need to, but have time for you. So carve that time out for you, and you'll just notice that the other stuff starts to come together. All right. Judy. Nope, Pam. Sorry. Pam, yours is Alliance. The Alliance card is really cool because I'm glad. Yeah, I will definitely. I'm glad you're here for the first time. Welcome, welcome. So the Alliance card, sweetie, is when it's time for us to team up with others. Lots of times we try to do everything on our own. And when we do that, we don't have enough support and we feel overburdened. So this is saying it's time for you to create a group of allies, like your team, to help you out and for you to help them out. So I'm seeing like a group of women, like 4 or 5 women who you all have similar interests, but you each are good at something different. It's kind of like a mastermind group. And in this ally group, you know, everybody gets together on what they need to accomplish, and you get to do the thing that you like to do, and you do it for you, but you do it for somebody else. And they get to do the thing they like to do, which is different than what you do. And everything gets accomplished even faster because everybody's doing what they like to do. And it takes even less time. It's like, you know, when 2 minds are thinking about something, you have more ideas. 3 minds make it even stronger, but 4 minds make it unstoppable. That's what I'm seeing. Because there's so much creation energy that gets brought together when you have a group. So it's time for you to create your group. All right, let's see who's next. Did I already do Judy? Judy Dannet, Danneffel. I already did her. Okay. All right, Sean. Your card is the Zen Garden. So the Zen Garden is calling you to go into your inner sanctuary. The true peace and the true Zen is inside of ourselves. And the only way to grow peace within us, grow Zen within our garden, is for us to do things that are cultivating tranquility and peace for us. And for some people, that's a meditation practice. For some people, that's music. For some people, that's dance. For some people, that's art. But it's all about what brings you peace. I actually, know somebody who, when they do the dishes by hand, that's peaceful for them because they're doing something monotonous that they've done for a long time, and they can have time with themselves. They can do it on automatic pilot. So this is, you are in a space where it's time for you to start cultivating peace inside of you. And if we don't do that with inside of us, then we have chaos around us. So the more chaos that's around us, the more peace we need to start creating inside of us. All right? Thank you, dear. All right, Denise. Denise Pat, sorry. Your card is intuitive communication. So intuitive communication is when we get quiet. Here's another one. And we listen to what our heart is trying to tell us. We spend a lot of time letting other people tell us what to do or tell us what to feel or how we should act. And this is saying, shh, listen to your heart and see what your heart's saying to you. Listen to what your intuition is saying. You know, when you think about it, does it squeeze in your belly? And if it squeezes in your belly or squeezes your chest, then it's causing you to react to it. So that's not something that is positive for you. But when you focus on something and you're like, then you know that that's exactly what you want and exactly where you want to be. All right? So it's like listening to your heart, listening to your intuition, because that's the best guide for you. All right? No one knows you like you. All right, Amy, your card is heat. So the heat card comes when it's time to turn up the heat inside of us. Time to activate our passion, our desire. What do you want in this life and who do you want to be? And it's that the fire element is in our belly. It's in our third chakra, right below our rib cage. And that ignites our inner flame. It ignites our spark of who we are and who we're meant to be and how we're meant to shine in this world. So this is calling you to turn up the heat. Really get that activated. That may mean you're going to have to speak your truth. It may mean that some other people aren't going to be too happy with that. But that's when you really know that you're getting closer and closer to who you are and your divine light when other people get uncomfortable. Because then you start to feel like, okay, I'm getting closer to who I am. And they may not be happy with that. This seems to be a theme. But you get to call in what you want to do, what you desire, want out of life. And you're the spark to light that fire. Don't let anybody else try to light it for you. All right. Randy. So your card, Randy, is expectation. I love this. The bird of transformation on grandmother's back, the buffalo that are there. They may be bison, but you know, I was born in Buffalo, so they're all buffalo to me. So expectation comes when we're sitting there and something is coming. We can sense it. We don't know what it is. But this is all about having the opportunity to look forward to something. Something lovely is heading your way. And there's this beautiful energy that happens when we're expecting. There's excitement, there's nervousness, but our inner child is like, ooh, like we are like before the holidays, like waiting for presents, right? So there's this expectation that you have on the horizon. And so as you feel and experience this energy, just sort of look to your divine connection, look to your team to help guide you, to give you messages on what that is. But just know that it's something wonderful and juicy. So I'm excited for you. All right, Barbie. So Barbie, your card is loss, my dear. So the loss card comes in when we encounter grief and sadness. But it's about transforming that energy. We're not focusing on what is lost, what's in the past. This is taking that old energy of grief and sadness and transmuting it so that we are moving into a resurrection energy. You know, when we lose a relationship, we shift because we are now different without the connection to that person at the moment. But it doesn't mean that all is lost. It means now we are moving forward in a brand new way, a brand new energy. And that old energy that caused sadness and grief can be the fuel to move us forward in our new space and our new life. So, you know, what happens is a lot of people focus on what's lost rather than on what's coming because of that. So this is about shifting your focus and your attention to what opportunities is it opening for you to move forward. All right, Ashley. Your card, my dear, is Night Wind. So the Night Wind card is, you know, the winds of change are blowing. So we have this, like, these fears. And think about how much more fear shows up in the evening than during the day, right? So this is saying, okay, it's time for you to sort of face these fears, and on a subconscious level go, okay, I don't need to be fearful about that. I can move forward. Thank you for showing me that I have this anxiety, but I don't need to hang on to it. So you're allowing the fear to come up for you to become aware of it. And then when you're aware of it, you can release it and begin to heal it. And so allow the winds of change to blow, because it's going to create new breath and new life. So the more we let go of the things that scare us, the more room we have for beautiful, wonderful things to come in. All right. Gabby. Of course you can have a card, my dear. So your card is Absence. So the Absence card comes to us when we feel like something's missing. And we don't know what it is. It just feels like this piece is missing. And generally that's because there's some part of you that is longing to be expressed. You know, if you have an artist and you haven't allowed her to create in a while, she may be getting a little cranky, or you may feel like something's missing. And a lot of people go through this, like, something's missing in my life. I don't know what it is. And what's missing is you. Some part of you is not being expressed. And one of the ways that I help my students try to figure that out is make a list of things you loved to do when you were a kid. And it's usually an indication of things that we are meant to do as grown-ups, and we sometimes put aside because somebody else isn't comfortable with that. So start feeling around and noticing what's missing. And it's not a who, so it's not somebody else. It's something within you. Okay? All right. Have fun with that. Lisa, of course. Your card, my dear, is Influence. So I don't know if you can see all the phases of the moon at the very top of the card. But the influence is that as we move through life, you know, the energy shifts as the moon shifts, right? There is certain energy when we're in a full moon. There's a certain energy when we're in a new moon. And all of that influences our behavior and our energy. And people influence our energy and our behavior too. And there's a lot of energy that is influencing you right now, and it's almost putting pressure on you, to be truthful. It's like, you know, when people are really trying to be helpful and there's too many people trying to be helpful and all it ends up being is noise and pressure and stress. You get to choose what energy and who you're going to allow to influence you. Just because other people want to give your opinion doesn't mean you need to take it. So you get to check in and see what you would like to influence you. Maybe it's time for you to find a new mentor, someone to help you with this next stage of your life, to help you guide you on these next steps that you're going to take. And we all need guidance. And sometimes we just need to decide who's going to help us and who's going to influence us as we go through this shift. So, yeah, you get to decide and use it to help create something new, sweetie. All right. So I'm going to pull a card for Neshi because she's here helping me. And so I always love to give her, you know, the last card of the night. So her card is Rediscovery. And look at that inner child. The inner child's on the outside. She's so cute. And the goddess is in her heart rather than the other way around. So this is about, you know, tapping back into your inner child. You know that. I'd like to put a challenge out there. When was the last time you created something yourself? Like a drum, or for me, yes, my drum for me. But it's like rediscovering stuff that you loved and you've put aside because you've been so busy. And we do that. We're like, oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And now your inner child's going, I need time for that because that's what makes me happy. So bring that out because that'll make the rest of your life flow, and you know that. All right, guys. So for those of you who are here on Star Nations, you can join me tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. There is a really cool class I'm going to be teaching about empathy, and if you're an empath, and how it works with your energy field and your chakras and ways to deal with that so it doesn't become overwhelming. And then if you are in the Western Mass area, there is a class being held here tomorrow night as well at 6 o'clock. I'm not teaching it. Christina and Abigail will be teaching a class on the essential oils. And we'll have some really cool make and takes where you can make your own remedies and take them home with you. It's a free class. So if you are, you know, would love to join us at Trinity Healing Sanctuary, you're welcome to come. I'll be there in the beginning to say hi to everyone before I do my class. And with that, you guys, I hope to see you here next week at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for Soul Connections. And if you really want to learn about the energy system and how it impacts your life, chakra sessions on Tuesdays at noon. We're doing a lot of talk about our energy system and the evolution and how it's moving forward in the ascension energy at this time. And so with that, you guys, have a great night, and I will see you next time. Bye.